So today is all about apple pruning. That's up next. Hello everyone, this is Dwayne with Edge of Nowhere Farm, and we're coming to you here in the winter of 2024. Now, apple trees are something that are a little unique for us here in the desert because most of our varieties are actually fruiting in early summer. But today, we're gonna be showing you some of the fall ripening apples we have here on the farm. The tree you see behind me here is a Gala Apple. Now, these trees, I will tell you, if you're here in Arizona, this is definitely not the first kind of tree that I would plant. We have our Golden Dorset, our Anna, our Einsheim, and our Tropic Sweets. Those are really better varieties and consistent producers, but we wanted to give this a shot. And because we have a little more chill hours out here outside of the city, we do get a fairly good fruit set. The challenge has been getting that fruit into the fall and ripe. So this tree was actually purchased from Greg Peterson at the Urban Farm Fruit Tree Program. It's been in the ground for right at about 3 years, so still a very young tree. So what you're going to be seeing us do with this tree today is a combination of still shaping and guiding the tree as far as growth is concerned, and really for the first time we're going to be pruning a little bit for production. Before we get started, let's talk a little bit about the tools we're going to be using today. I've got my trusty Corona pruners. I've been using these since the old farm, so they're at least 5 years old. These are bypass pruners, so the actual cutting side of the pruners bypasses the anvil. Next up is going to be a pair of loppers. These loppers are for your larger branches. They bypass lopper to get a clean cut. You also may see me using a saw today. If we're taking off any larger materials, the saw will come into play. I don't know whether or not we'll actually do that, but we do always have those handy. And last but not least, my DeWalt pruning shears. This year are a first for me. I really love this tool, so I can pretty much guarantee you're going to see this in action. So the first thing I do whenever I'm getting my pruning done is clean up the bottom of the tree. With those, I'm looking for branches that are pointing down. I also want to make sure that I have my harvesting notch. That's just an area essentially on the north side of the tree where I can get up into the middle of the tree to do harvesting and things like that once we start getting a lot of production. So now one of the biggest differences in this harvesting notch and this open center, which is the design we've chosen for this, is we are going to keep it nice and tight. Most of our other fruiting apple trees, we have a nice wide open center. This one's a lot more narrow. The reason is we want to make sure we have plenty of protection for the fruit. Unlike everybody else, too much sunlight in the middle of summer is really the challenge for these fall ripening fruit. So a little more coverage in here. Now also, I'm not gonna leave a real big area here for the harvesting notch. I'm gonna keep this in kind of nice and tight. I still wanna be able to get inside, but I wanna make sure, again, lots of coverage on the tree here to protect all the fruit. So what I'm doing here at the end of each one of these scaffolds is I'm tipping these down or back. I'm looking for an outward facing bud, which is right here, because that's going to be the first break once these break dormancy, and I want this to continue to grow out. So outward facing bud, cut at an angle above, and that's going to induce growth right below that cut. I'd say I probably gave it about, maybe 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch. Now, one of the reasons why this is important in cutting some of this back, I'm trying to induce something that's very critical for you with your apple trees. Let me show you that. So these little branches here, most of these are actually fruiting spurs. Now, these didn't start to show up until this past growing season. We've been topping this tree, cutting it back and down. And one of the reasons why we tip these branches, these long scaffold branches, to continue to induce the tree to put on these fruiting spurs. That's our goal here with these. So real important when you're pruning your apple trees, make sure you're not removing all these little nubs. A lot like apricots and plums and cherries, same thing here. These fruiting spurs you want to keep because you don't want to lose that production. So I think I'm done here. What I'm really continuing to look for as I walk around the tree is balance to the tree, and also make sure that any crossing branches, I need to get rid of those, and any dead or dying branches, I'm looking for those as well. Hey, one more thing before I get going, let me show you where you want to make these cuts up against the trunk. So just made this cut here. You can see I have the collar of this branch is still there. So I cut basically as the branch starts to come down, it starts to flare out. That's the collar. I want to cut just above that. So maybe 1/8 of an inch or so, a few millimeters is all I'm leaving to that branch. That way, as this continues to grow and heal over, it'll heal over nice and smooth. So this will give you an idea of what this tree is going to look like here finishing up. Now, a couple things. We talked a little bit about the difference between this tree and our summer trees. Our summer trees have a much wider open center. That's to allow penetration of sunlight through that canopy, especially when we get into June. The foliage just comes in really dense as the season kicks off. So we want to make sure that we have plenty of open light for the sun to penetrate before we get into June, July. Now these need to survive that summer. So a more compact open center, a lot more branching left at the top of the tree to really give a lot less light penetration, especially as we go through summer. Second thing with this tree, you'll notice it's actually quite tall. Now, if you're wanting to control the height, you can do all those things with pruning. However, we've got plenty of space here on the farm. We want nice, tall, beautiful trees in addition to production. So we're not controlling the height near as much as you can. So this is our Gala. We have 2 more trees we want to get to here today that'll wrap up our pruning season. It's our Jersey Mac and our Wynoochee Early. Those are the 2 trees we're pruning next. So this last tree you saw me pruning is our Wynoochee Early. This tree we had planned to do a central leader design, and it's not being so nice. It's growing very, very vertical. I'm not getting much in the way of horizontal branching, which I was hoping for. And I really don't have a central leader. It doesn't want to maintain a single leader for me. So we're just kind of working with the tree, how it's growing. As time goes on, we're going to let it continue to get larger and start to hopefully develop some more horizontal branching and even out all of that scaffolding. But you know, this tree being 3 years old now, we got plenty of time for that. So just want to thank you for joining us today. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. We cover a lot of things here on this newly established functioning farm and would love to see you on a regular basis. If you have any questions or comments, those go in the comments section down below. And our Amazon shop, I'll leave a link down in the description. That's a free, painless way to help support the channel. If you start with the link down below, it doesn't matter what you buy, you help to support us here. So just want to thank you for joining us today and remind you, if we can farm on the edge of nowhere, so can you. All right, Cleo, can I get up? No, she just laid down. Okay, I'm staying here.
Look at her.
I'm stuck.
Yeah, she loves face massages so much. She'll just sit there and like lay there.
Oh yeah, she's purring away. All right, well, just let me know when dinner's ready. I won't be helping today.